Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. The last Wednesday of the year. Oh my gosh, what a year it has been. We need coffee. Yes, we need coffee. We'll get this ready. How are you doing? Are you ready for the New Year's celebration? I am. Had to get all glitched up. And then I have my flowers, which makes me very happy. Lots and lots and lots of flowers, as you can see. And you. What else is there? The Tulip Tribe, flowers, jewels. That's all we need. So, happy end of the year to you. How you doing? Type in there, add your tulip. Let us know where you're from. Let us know what's going on in your world. And today, we're going to design. We're going to reflect. And we're going to look forward. Today's a day of celebration. The celebration of the resilience of you, the tribe, the creative genius, and how do we plan and prepare for 2021, the coming year. I brought my rocks with me because this is the stability and the balance that we all crave in our life. Another rock. This was from Grace, one of my very first employees ever. And yes, you could crack it open, and it's a jewel, but I save it just because it's so fabulous. And rocks are so important to me because that is stability. Rock solid, stable. And that's what we're going to look at today as we look at flowers and preparing for the new year and keeping our lives flower-filled going forward. So much fun and excitement as we plan and we prepare. So many choices to be made. How do we even begin? It's kind of overwhelming. But today, we have you here. I'm here. In the studio, we have Carolyn and Marisa. Online, we have Susie and Caledonia. And with us on the collaboration, we have you, the most important part. So take a moment, introduce yourself. Let us know you're here. As you chime in, Carolyn and Marisa will let me know you're here so that I can hear what it's all about. I hope that you got dressed with your jewels for our last collaboration. You know, we all need to do things that we don't really know why or what, but because it's silly and it's real. You know, we haven't had time to go out and get all dressed up and have a party. It hasn't been appropriate. So sometimes you have to get all dressed up and have a party for yourself. And that's what today is. It's a party for ourselves, the Tulip Tribe. A chance to reflect. A chance to look forward. And a chance to celebrate flowers. So let's get started. While I start gathering some blooms, Marisa, Carolyn, who's out there? And if you haven't chimed in yet, if you haven't put your tulip, please do so now. Let us know you're here so that we can all welcome you and get to hear what's going on. So I'll gather. What's happening out there?
Well, they're trickling in slowly, but they're definitely coming in. We've got Renee. It's her first time joining us live on YouTube. Sally, Elaine, Marmac, Heidi, Elizabeth, Leslie, Maribel, Debbie, Donald, Sally. They
So
just
Renee,
keep coming.
Renee, welcome. I'm glad you're here for the very first time. The Tulip Tribe is a pretty fabulous group of people. It's pretty grand. We'll do some collaboration here. We'll do some celebrating here. And I hope you all have your favorite beverage. To begin with, I have my coffee. I have another beverage for the end so that we can all toast to each other. So if you haven't figured out your beverage yet, do so, because we want to do a toast to the tribe. We'll do that at the end, but for now, just gathering some treasures here. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got some chrysanthemums, which are so on trend now. It's kind of funny. Mums used to be out of favor and now they're back. Mini hydrangea, pretty fabulous. Green trick dianthus. And then I've got so many different things here. It's like, oh my gosh, here's some Hypericum. For my first arrangement, I'm going to think about putting something together for myself, for reflection. Because the reality is, as we get ready for the new year, we want to look back. We want to reflect and see how far we've come. And many times, that means meditation, thinking, planning, organizing. So pulling my greens, which are therapeutic and make you feel good. Container-wise, I have a flower box. This was done by one of our students, imported by Vivian in China. I filled it with a liner with floral foam tucked in. So I have floral foam, beautiful box, and then I'm going to do pave style. So cutting it very, very short and then nestling it in, creating a beautiful tapestry of flowers and color. I'm going to turn this so that you can see by lifting it up. There we go. So you can see how I'm starting it down very, very, very low. And while I work, what else is going on? Marisa, do you have anything there in the world?
Well, everyone is commenting on your bling, Leanne. And John says that you need a tiara.
I do need a tiara. Oh my gosh, I need one so bad. I do not have a tiara. So the bling is compliments of the American Floral Design Institute Foundation. I bought it at a silent auction and I won from Manny Kuwati. So Manny didn't get it, I got it. And it was so amazing. So the bling was from the American Institute of Floral Designers Foundation auction. And yes, I love it. So it makes me very happy. Gives me something definitely blinged out beyond the norm. And right now, with all that we've had to give up this year, sometimes you just need to bling it to make it better. So I've got some chrysanthemums, some hypericum, some green trick dianthus. What I'm doing is creating a meditation tapestry, something that really makes you feel good to touch it and to look at it. Got some miniature hydrangea, dipping it in alum so that it will last the best. Tucking it in, you can see. And the variations on the green, oh so wonderful.
Leanne, and we have quite a lot of tulips over here on Facebook. We have Jim and Gayla, Jennifer, and haven't seen both the Sharons in a while. And Roxy, Pam, Carl, Joy, Denise, Robin, Wayne, Debbie, Harmony, Patricia, Diane, Elisa, and shout out to Michael, who just graduated from FDI, and he's an FDI graduate.
Congratulations, Michael. I think I just signed your certificate today. When I walked in to get ready for live, there were certificates sitting on my desk because many of you have been so busy through this holiday week. It's like you use this time to finish up all your lessons. So it's kept the teachers on their toes because they've had to be ready for you. And I just am so excited. So thank you for being here. Thank you for working so hard on your studies. Thank you for allowing us to be part of it. Because yes, 'tis the season to be in floral design. We are also busy getting ready for the next holiday version. You know, we got through Thanksgiving, well, and Halloween, and Christmas, and Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and New Year's is all right here. And now we're getting ready for Valentine's, the big holiday of the year for floral designers. I mean, Valentine's Day is so dang huge. It's just insane. So what did you do this year that you felt good about? This year was a tough year. This year was hard. All of us kind of struggled this year, and I'll be the first to admit it. It was very, very hard this year. There's a lot of positives. You just have to stop and think about it. So that's my first question to you. What was your positive? What happened this year, in spite of everything, that was fabulous for you? Carolyn, Marisa, you kind of keep track of things. Let me know what comes up there, because I'd love to know. What's the positive in the tribes as we all kind of move along and figure out what's up? And while I gather a few more flowers, what else is going on out there?
Well, Marmac has a good one. She said she had a great time reviewing all her studies and rereading all her evaluations and seeing what she did and what she might do differently if she had to do it again.
So true, because Marmac, as you have moved forward, you've learned more, and you've grown to learn new things. And so the designs you did when you were in your studies are different than the designs you would do now. And isn't it fabulous to be able to go back and look at your lessons and look at the evaluations and think about how you would change it now? Because you wouldn't do it the same. It would be different. And that's a big deal. I mean, that's one of the greatest benefits of this program, is that you have access for a lifetime to go back and look and see how you've grown and how you would evaluate differently and how you would change things. So very grand. Very, very grand.
I'm getting a few responses to your question, Leanne.
So what are you hearing out there?
So let's see. So Carl gained their Louisiana florist license.
Congratulations, Carl.
And then Kim and Sharon said getting their FDI and CFD.
Congratulations, Kim and Cheryl. Those are big deals. Achieving your goals, accomplishing things, especially in a traumatic year. So it took more effort, a lot more effort. What do you think? Do you like the tapestry? As I end the year, for me personally, I'm looking for introspection, to look at what I personally have accomplished. And many times, flowers are the tactile representation. So having a tapestry to touch and to think helps and leads you to the next step. Plus, what a great gift. I mean, you could put a lid on it and deliver it, make it a special gift for someone. I mean, how cool is that? So I'm going to go ahead and make something up here. Let's see. Maybe this ribbon is so fun. Make a loop. It's funny because some of my floral groups I'm part of, they're talking about how bows are the nemesis, the absolute hated thing. How do you cope with bows? And with Valentine's coming up, bows are more important than ever. Granted, you can skip bows much of the year, but sometimes with Valentine's Day and Christmas, those holidays, you need bows. So if you're struggling with making bows and getting it mastered, go back to your basic floral design. Look at the bow instruction. Hopefully that will help. Go back to YouTube. Type in bows, and you'll see so many different instructional videos at the Flower School so that you can see how it might work for you. Because there's many, many, many ways to make a bow. The question is which one works for you so that you can get it to be done perfectly so that you can feel good about it. If you go to the Floral Design Institute Flower School channel on YouTube, we actually have a video just on production bows to help get ready for Valentine's Day. So you can look at that, see how that works for you. For this one, I just did a bow with extra long streamers. That way I can bring it and add it to the lid, bring it across, and then I'm going to add it to the back using some U-glue dashes. While I grab the dashes, Carolyn, Marisa, what else is happening?
Yes, well, everybody's chiming in with all their positives for 2020. Sally started her floral design education with us. Savannah had a baby, bought a house, and started a business.
Oh my gosh, Savannah is an overachiever. Oh man!
Elaine says FDI has been her inspiration this year. And Jet G said they bought flowers for themselves for the very first time in their life this year.
Congratulations. Didn't that feel good to buy flowers for you? It's important because you're important. And if you don't buy flowers for you, why bother with anything else? I mean, you really do have to buy flowers for you. You have to think about who's important in this grand scheme of things. And you know, it's you. It's so funny because how many times have we been on an airplane? Not recently, obviously, but how many times have you been on the airplane and they say, put on your own mask first and then put it on your child or your companion or whoever you're traveling with. And you know, and the reality is, that's a perfect example for life. Take care of yourself, do flowers for yourself, and when you do so, it will then free you up to take care of everybody else. But if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anybody else. So I'm excited that you bought flowers for yourself. And that's one of the things that I wanted to add in my live today, is a challenge to each and every one of you to make sure, moving forward in 2021, that it's a flower-filled year, which means buy flowers for you. Yes, you, because you're special. So my first design that I did was just a simple one, a tapestry of flowers, beautiful box, Vivian, imported from China, tapestry of greens, hydrangea, chrysanthemums, dianthus, hypericum. Just makes you want to touch it. Gifting it to someone else with a lid, and then you can give it to them. And they're like, huh, well, interesting, what is that? And they open it, and they too will touch. The tactile will be so fabulous to make them happy. Little things like that make all the difference in the world. And we're going to be looking at other things that we can do as floral designers, floral artists, flower lovers to make 2021 wonderful. If you have not shared this video, do so. Share it out, tag a friend, spread the word, and let everyone know that flowers are important for happiness. And flowers and the flower tribe, we're resilient. We're creative geniuses. Planning, getting ready, looking forward to the new year. Another design that I like to do is a lot of reflective design. So this one was a favorite of mine because it's tactile and you can touch it. And it just makes you feel good. This one is a container of mine off the shelf, so don't even ask. It was a gift and it's not available, but it was a wonderful gift. It was a gift to me. And we filled it with a Kinzon So it does not have floral foam, it does not have netting, it has a Kinzon, a pin cushion inside, and then we also added some rocks to finish that off. And working with this allows me to work at a very minimal level, something a little bit more casual, linear, not a lot of greens, not a lot of foam, not a lot of anything, more meditational. So as I gather here, and I'm going to gather flowers. What else is going on out there? You guys speak to me. Tell me what's happening.
Well, earlier, Jessica said, in regards to your jewelry, you should just bling it.
Bling it out for the new year. Hello. Yes.
And Leo commented on your pave design that it's so calming and just wants to touch it.
And that's the goal, is to have it be an interactive piece of art that invites you to touch. I mean, that's one of the beauties of floral as an art form, is you can touch it and you can actually interact with it. Unlike a painting, which is like, don't touch, just look. But with floral, you can actually touch and interact and be part of the whole thing. Maybe do some iris here. I'm going to try to design facing you. So if it's crooked, you'll just have to tell me and we'll correct it. But for the moment, I'm just going to design facing you.
So Leanne, I have tons of responses again to everyone, but I would like to, let's see, I have so many names here. Who was it? I just lost it. Someone was asking in regards to Sharon, who had, she's an FDI graduate, and she started her home-based business and has nailed 3 corporate accounts.
Congratulations, Sharon. That's exciting.
And Veronica is actually asking if Sharon could please share how she was able to do that.
You know, that's a great question. So Sharon, if you're willing to share, please type it in there. And then coming up in the new year, we've got several lives planned where we'll be talking about running a profitable business. How do you market? How do you price? How do you figure the accounting? And we have several planned and coming up. So Sharon, if you can share there, that would be great. Let people know how you did it. Because getting things together and organized is a big deal. So I'm adding in here. So what I'm doing is designing in an Asian influence with the Ikebana influence, where I have heaven, man, and earth. My earth is my kale. My heaven, if I can get this last one in here, it doesn't want to stay put. I have to find a perfect spot, is the iris. The man is the tulip. And then I'm going to go ahead and enhance that with more stems. The beauty of using a tulip in this type of a design is it continues to grow. In the Tulip Tribe, we all continue to grow. That's a very big deal. And I think it was Alana who pointed out that tulips keep growing. And that's one of the most important parts, is that you never stop growing. So in the new year, taking time to reflect and look forward to how you're going to grow. So what else has gone on out there that's exciting that you guys can share with me? I'm going to turn this so everybody can see, and then I'll fill in a little bit.
Elizabeth is curious where she can purchase a Kenzon.
Kinzons, you can get at most floral wholesalers, and then in addition to that, even hardware stores are starting to carry a Kinzon, and craft stores. So if you look around in your neighborhood at the craft, ironically, my Ace Hardware sells Kinzons in all different sizes. So I can actually get them at Ace Hardware, which is kind of amazing. But then my Ace Hardware is a wonderful, wonderful store, and they do a great job. And so, you know, you might check there. Then look at your hardware store, look at your local floral wholesaler. So many different places that you can get them. the biggest problem with the Kinzon is they're not as deliverable for a finished arrangement. They're really meant to design more on site because they're not as stable for deliverability. But if you're designing for yourself, or if you're going in and doing an installation on site, then they're fabulous. You can do great things with them.
Okay, let's see here, Leanne. What else can I share with you? Oh, Dolores, she is a new student of ours, and she decided to do something she loves, so she signed up for our basic course. Pretty much all of these are either success stories or of our graduates or students now. Joyce achieved a work-life balance by moving her business into her home. And Pam got her first floral job. Diane was doing Zoom flower arranging for her friends and family during Christmas. And Elisa, who is also a FDI graduate, left a career path she wasn't happy with, graduated from FDI, and married her best friend despite the pandemic.
How exciting. So much going on out there. I was able to talk to Dolores just the other day, and we were discussing pricing and all the different variations and how you can do it, because there's so many different ways to price flowers, and all of them can be correct as long as you're profitable at the end. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If it's profitable at the end, it's correct. If it's not profitable at the end of the month, it's wrong. And so it was kind of a fun conversation with her to discuss all the variations. Marisa, what do you have there?
Okay, John has a great question. He wants to know if it's okay to have the Kinzon showing, or should it be hidden?
Ah, that's a great question, because it's a matter of opinion. Some people think the Kinzon is part of the design. Others think the Kinzon is a mechanic. So, if it's a mechanic, it should be hidden. If it's part of the design, it can be an artistic element to show. So that really depends on your interpretation. So that's a great question for the tribe. All of you, do you hide the Kinzon, or do you let it show? So there's the next question. So I asked you what was moving on in the year and what was happening. Now I'm asking you, would you hide a Kinzon, or would you let it show? Good question. So we can answer the question from the group. Excellent. And I'm going to go ahead and gather some more things here. You know what? I need something else in here. As I was working on it, I got my heaven, man, earth, and I repeated it with the greens. But you know what's missing? A little more dynamic line. So let's add one more thing to make this even more special. Maybe, let's see, some flowering quince. Quince is just beginning to bloom in some spots. Not really blooming, I guess bud. And so adding in quince to this design, and when you do flowering branches of any kind, it's really kind of a two-part thing. You cut it, and then you also whittle a bit. It drinks better if you whittle, and then placing it in. So adding the flowering quince changes this design. Getting it in here, and then adjusting everything else around it. There we go. Maybe adding another bit.
So far, Leanne, I don't know about you, Carolyn, but I have a tie about the Kinzon.
Okay, what's a good question? So what's happening out there on that?
It's a tie for me as well. Marmac uses it as a mechanic. Christine likes it to show.
Yep, and I have two over here that say to hide it, and two people over here that say no, they like to show it.
Interesting. You know, and it really is a personal preference, because it's one of those things that it can become an artistic element, and it can become a hidden mechanic. And that's the beauty of floral, is it really can be both. So in this one, I made a meditation piece that allows each flower to bloom out and show, and the tulips to keep growing, because we do want to continue to grow. As we look forward to the new year and what's going to happen and how it's going to be. Carolyn, anything going on in your world?
Yeah, Dorn has a great question. When using a Kenzon, do you use the spikes to insert the stems into, or do you insert in between the spikes?
Both. Actually, both. Depending on how thick the stem is, it can go into the spike, and a very thin stem won't do that. So you have to kind of put in between. So then you sometimes have to cluster and work with it to get it to be secure within the Kenzon spikes. And that is something that just takes practice to really master and get figured out, because it can be both ways. Now in this design, I thought I'd use floral foam. Another one of my vessels that off of my shelf. Put a bit of foam in place so that I can work with that. Added some rocks just for interest to make it fun. And then working on a horizontal mode. So bringing it into the side. So if you've had your floral design classes, you've had designs that are vertical, you've had designs that are symmetrical, asymmetrical, and you've had things that are horizontal. And by doing horizontal, it implies stability, which right now is something we all need. Stability. Think about it. Being stable. Feeling in control of your life and your environment. That's a tough call, because sometimes you don't feel like you're in control. But the reality is you need to be in control. And so a design that's done on the horizontal implies that stability. So I'm going to grab more flowers while Carolyn and Marisa tell me what's going on.
Harmony wants to know how the foam is secured in there.
I believe, I did not secure this. Teacher Marisa secured it for me, but I believe that there are anchor pins in the bottom. So we've got anchor pins that are locked into place with floral clay, and then the foam anchored onto that, then the rocks for interest, and now I've added the horizontal line of Bells of Ireland, which Bells of Ireland are geotropic, meaning that they're going to grow against gravity. So even though I've got them horizontal right now, and this one is trailing down, tomorrow when I come back, it's going to be like this. This will be like this. This will be like this. And it'll change the whole look of the design, which makes it so fun. I mean, how cool is that? So all of a sudden, I'll have this whole changed design. But for right now, it comes out like that for you to see. And then you'll see it reflected back later. Pretty much fun. Another cut of the miniature hydrangea.
Leanne, Natalie, who is a recent graduate of ours, she just planted 4,000 tulips.
Oh, Natalie, how grand that is going to be. So many tulips to bloom out. That's so exciting. I'm happy to hear that. That's just going to be the coolest thing ever. That's pretty grand.
Now, Leanne, in addition to that, Denise, who's also a recent graduate, earlier in the year, she spent a lot of time in her yard. So a lot of her customers got homegrown arrangements.
As we go through the year, more and more people will be growing and harvesting to provide local grown arrangements, which is a pretty exciting thing. And it's much like it was so many years ago before transportation was so easy, where everything was done with local grown flowers, and you go out and harvest and then create and design. Pretty grand. That's exciting. So what else is going on out there?
I have a question from Sally, back when you were using the Hypericum berries. She used some for the first time last week, and she said they're starting to smell like curry powder. Is that normal?
Oh my gosh, I've never had that happen. That's a great question for the tribe. Have any of you had Hypericum smell like curry powder? Marisa, have you had that happen?
Well, I wonder if it's more like coffee, because I've also heard that Hypericum is like coffee bean.
You know, it looks like a coffee bean, but it's actually an herb. Well, not an herb, but it is a, Hypericum is a medicinal item. And so it's not related to coffee, but it looks like a coffee bean. And I've never had Hypericum smell like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes,
I haven't
really?
either.
Oh, I've smelt it.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh, how cool is that? When I was in retail and we had flower shops delivering to coffee shops, we would use Hypericum frequently because it made us think of a coffee bean, but it really had no direct relation to such. It was just psychologically, it made you feel like, oh, it's a coffee bean. But Hypericum, if you look it up, in fact, many naturopaths will prescribe Hypericum as a natural treatment. And you may have it in your meds and you don't even know it, but it is not the same variety that we design with.
Okay, Leanne, I have a great question. And also, this may be a great Tulip Tuesday tip. Diane wants to know, when she's used Kenzons, she's used floral clay, and it works so well that she can't remove it afterwards. Do you have any tips on how to get the Kenzon off?
Good point. And that would be a good Tulip Tuesday, but since we've got people here, we can kind of chat about it. What I find is that Goo Gone will take the floral clay off if you want to remove it that way. I use a lot of Goo Gone and scrape it off because it isn't there permanently. But yes, you do want to be able to remove it because you don't want to destroy whatever container you put it to. So you might try Goo Gone. Does anybody else have a solution that they have used to remove floral clay from containers? What else do you use? Question for the tribe. Put it out there.
And Leanne, when I was actually trying to find your Kenzons today, there was one that I wanted to use, but it was stuck to the shelf. And I couldn't take it off, so I picked something else.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
So we need a tip on how to even remove these off the shelf.
I guess that's when you need one of those scrapers like they use for paint and such, and you just kind of scrape it off. How funny is that? So I'm going to turn this so you can see the back, and you can see I've gone horizontal and then creating a line across front to back, and then the tapestry of color here. And then I need to come back out this side to balance. So even though I'm going horizontal, I don't want to just stop. I've got to come across to carry the line back around. So I'm going to look and see here what I've got. And you know, it'd be kind of fun, even though the holidays are over, to go back with some of the evergreen and tuck that in. So I'm going to cut it down a bit. And while I get this ready, Carolyn, Marisa, what else is going on?
We've had a lot of comments on YouTube about the Hypericum, and they're saying it's St. John's wort.
Correct.
And it has been, they believe it's used for depression. And then Xander used to have a big, massive shrub in their yard and finally got rid of it, but it was pungent of curry.
Oh, interesting. But yes, it is St. John's wort. It is used for depression and to keep your mood stabilized. but to be pungent with curry, that's fascinating. Because I've never been around it when it was growing, so that's pretty fascinating. Very cool. So thanks to the tribe for clearing that up. But yeah, St. John's wort is something that many naturopaths prescribe to people to help them stabilize mood, to keep in a positive mode, which given the year that many of us have had, that's something we all want in our lives, is stability and calm and naturopathic ways of making us feel better. So you can see the pine. Oh, I have pitch on my hands. Okay, what else is happening out there?
And Neho said if she adds waterproof tape to her container before she adds the clay, making it easier to remove.
Oh, interesting. So you tape down, then put the clay, and then do the anchor and work with that, because then when you're done, you can just pull that tape up and have it be ready to go. Smart move. Very smart move. Oh, so what do you guys think? Do you like the horizontal? Horizontal design, if you've had advanced class with us, implies stability. It provides comfort. It's soothing, it's relaxing. And so right now, when we all sort of need something in our lives to help us be stable and settle, designing on the horizontal line can help convey that, create the essence of stability. And we sometimes need that. Putting that with the tapestry so that you've got that horizontal line for stability, and then the tapestry to give you something to touch, that therapeutic mode. The Hypericum, the illusion of St. John's wort. It is St. John's wort, but the illusion because of it being decorative. All very much fun. So what else is going on out there?
Well, we have a couple other suggestions for the floral clay. Harmony is suggesting hot water or heat. And Leanne, we have a Sunny here who is a graduate from 1991 and says anything oily would probably work. And then, although I could agree with Diane where she says that we could twist it, but I find if I keep twisting, it seems to stick more.
True. You know, sometimes when you twist, you can get it to pull up. Other times you twist and it creates a stronger suction, and then it stays more put. So, good point. Now, Sunny from way back, that might have been when we were back at the Montgomery Park building, and possibly, but how fun is that? It's so grand to have the tribe that has been with us for years and years and years and years to be able to look at where you are now and what you're doing. How exciting. So who's doing what for New Year's? I'm doing New Year's at home. I have scheduled 2 virtual concerts for New Year's Eve that I've subscribed to, bought tickets to, that'll be virtual at home. Planning to do the traditional of eating beans on New Year's Eve, eating poor food like beans gives you that luck going into the new year. And then on New Year's Day, we'll be doing a fancy dish. So we'll be doing beans on New Year's Eve and then something fancy on New Year's Day. No champagne on New Year's Eve. We do champagne on New Year's Day because you just sort of go back and forth. What are you doing? How are you going to celebrate the new year? How are you going to usher in 2021? I love the tradition that I've been reading about of opening the door at midnight to let the old year go out and the new year to come in. So I have to be up and awake to open my door at midnight so that I can let 2020 out and 2021 in. All these choices we have to make right now. So much going on. What choices are you making? You like these? Anemones? Aren't they great? As I go forward into 2021, one of the things that I personally am doing is making a commitment to have flowers in my life every single day. And it doesn't mean you have to have a lot. It doesn't mean you have to spend a fortune. But I want to make sure that I celebrate the seasons. So New Year's Day, I'm going to put tulips in my house because to me, tulips are New Year's, new beginnings, fresh starts, all of that. So I'll have tulips in my house on New Year's Day. Then moving forward, don't know. Next might be daffodils. Then thinking about primroses. But that's one of the beauties of being in the floral world is that you are on the cusp of seasonality. Everything has a season. It comes and it's fabulous and then it goes. And if you celebrate those seasons, everything's so much more wonderful. So you can see how many grand blooms are here. With this one, I'm going to do something a little brighter, a little more fun. Maybe some stock. Isn't that great? Now, right now, many of the flowers I'm working with are imported, so they're not in season. But as we move forward in the year, more and more will come in season so that we can have them when they're local grown, when they're ready. Some ocean song roses, those are great, beautiful lavender hue. So I've got some anemones, some stock, some hypericum, hydrangea, roses, maybe a little bit of alstroemeria.
Leanne, John has a really great live idea for next year, and if I could be a part of that, I would love to. But he wants to see blindfold designing.
Oh my
Ooh,
God!
I want to do that too.
Not masked, but blindfolded. Oh my gosh. Okay, well we could do a design challenge by blindfold. Wouldn't that be fun if we could do something? Because that's what I've been working on at home these last few days is planning out January, February, March, April, classes coming up, lives coming up, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Blindfolding could be an interesting approach to things, something totally different. I don't know that we've ever done blindfolded, so you could be challenging us, which could be a lot of fun, so cool. Okay, Marisa Carolyn, keep me on track with that.
We won't forget.
Oh dear.
Leanne, so do you want to hear about what everyone's doing?
Yeah, let's hear what the story is.
Okay, so let's see. Denise has tickets for a virtual ballet.
Fun.
Donna's gonna watch movies at home. Jim is going on a bike ride. John will be sleeping. Elisa and says thank you for reminding her husband, whose family's from Spain. They eat grapes for New Year's, and she needs to buy grapes.
I love it.
And this is my favorite. And Jennifer, I think I'm going to steal this from you. But they do champagne and powdered donuts. That sounds so good.
How fun! I mean, there's so many traditions that you can do, even with the limitations of a pandemic. And if you don't have a tradition that goes with that, maybe it's time to make a tradition and enjoy something new and different because we can. And it's such a luxury to get to be able to do that. The weather here in Oregon has been cold, crisp, but clear. It's been beautiful. And so I've been watching people out on their bikes all the time as they're going out. Now they have foot warmers and they have extra layers and such because it is insanely cold, but it's not cold like some parts of the nation where they've got snow and it's frigid. Our cold is just right around freezing. We've been running 32 to 35, and then it goes up closer to 45 in the daytime. So not bad like some parts of the nation. So bike riding is pretty much fun. And I've been watching people out and about. And you know, that's one of David and I's traditions that we'll be doing on New Year's, is that you eat at home, you cook at home, you call people around the world that you're part of, you spend a little tiny bit working, you spend a little bit of time playing, you spend time outside, and you just do bits of everything that you want to do in the new year. And as long as you do bits of everything, it's like you're setting the stage to continue doing that in the new year. So if bike riding is your thing, make sure you ride your bike. If dancing and ballet is your thing, make sure you do a little dancing. If cooking is your thing, make sure you make something special. But do little bits of everything, and then make sure that you contact and call the people that are important in your life, connect with them, because you want to continue that forward in the new year. So that's what we'll be doing on New Year's Day. We'll be doing a little of this, a little of that, talking to friends, touching base, seeing what's going on in the world, and making sure we do little tiny bits of everything we love to do. So we're going to do one thing, traditionally in our family, candy making was a big deal. My father-in-law and mother-in-law always made candy, hundreds of pounds of candy. So we're going to be making some chocolate truffles for the new year because we just want to keep that tradition going. You know, it's those little things that make life special. And that's what I impress upon you, is determine what's going to make your life special. You have choices to make. You have choices to make. The choices I'm going to make, flowers in my life every single day. Yeah. And then connection with people. Maybe we can't be together without our masks. Maybe we can't be together in person. But we can be together by phone, by video, collaboration, together all the time. So much important things to do all the time. Well, I gather a few more blooms. What else is happening?
Leanne, Roxy actually wants to know if you're using the hydrangea as like an armature.
You know, I started with the hydrangea, and yes, I wove into that. So there is a hydrangea in the center, and I wove into that. And then I continued on just using a spiral technique, so that I've been kind of wrapping things around as I go, turning it, and I can just keep adding however I want to. Maybe I want to add in a tulip, but as I add it, I bring it into the side, and then I turn it, bring it in. So yes, I used it as an armature in the center, but then the rest of my mechanics is really just to do that turning spiral. Bring it in.
Leanne, this just cracks me up. Jessica was trying to do the grapes for New Year's as well, but she says all the grapes in the stores by her are huge, and she doesn't think that she can eat 12, so she thinks she's going to sub for blueberries.
I love it. You know, I bought some blueberries last week thinking, I'm just kind of thinking about blueberries. Do you know we ate the entire container like within 2 days? I'm like, what were we thinking? They just tasted so good. And so I need more blueberries now. Grapes have never been my most favorite thing. I don't know why. I don't dislike grapes, but I never think about grapes. And so I guess I need more blueberries. So I guess that's a good thing. You know, we'll just all do blueberries instead. We'll just keep that going. Whoops, throwing flowers on the ground. Pick them up. So what I'm doing is just kind of gathering it in my hand now, and then adding some stronger things on the bottom to work as a cushion to make sure that it stays together. And I'm tying it off. So coming up, the next lives, so that you know what's happening. We have so many things coming up. We have school actually starting. That's amazing. School is starting in person on January 11th. It's sold out. You can go on a waiting list if you want to, but right now we're sold out for January 11th. And we'll be doing in-person classes with COVID protection to make sure that everybody stays safe. Then we'll have our advanced class in February, which is also sold out. You can go on a waiting list for that. Then after that, we've got wedding trends and techniques coming up, which we're just working on rewriting right now because the wedding trends are changing and evolving. Coming up our next live, I'm really excited. We're going to be focusing on the Pantone color of the year, yellow paired with gray. They did a dual color this year, so yellow and gray together for the Pantone color of the year, which that'll be grand fun. I'm very excited about that. And then we'll be doing Valentine's. And while I cut this so that you guys don't have to watch and deal with that, what else is going on while I get this cut?
So what about this suggestion for live, which Rick suggested? How would you feel about if we like gave each other like our own basket, like chopped? So we all had our own surprise package and we had to design it on camera.
Oh my gosh.
And do that blindfolded.
And do that.
You know, well, now you guys are really pushing it here. Biggest thing that we have to do is get past COVID so that we can have 2 or 3 of us on camera together. I was looking back through old lives and I was seeing how I would be standing next to Maurice, or I'd be standing next to Michelle, or I'd be standing next to Carolyn. I miss those days. We haven't been standing next to each other in a very, very, very long time. But wouldn't it be grand to do a design challenge with 3 or 4 of us up together and everybody had to create in front of you and share that? Noted, because I think that's a great live idea. So any other live ideas that you'd like to share with us? Because that's what I'm working on right now, is putting things together. I know we're going to do the Pantone color of the year. I'm excited about that. I know we're going to be Valentine's Day prep and Valentine's Day inspiration. We're also going to do a business management and pricing because so many people are challenged with that. And so how to work towards that. These are all lives that are coming up. We have class started where we talk about pricing, we talk about business, we talk about design, we get that all going and you master those techniques. But the reality is, as we go to the end of the year, we all need to plan, we all need to prepare, we all need to get ready for where we're going in the future. We all need to put our bling on because it's time to celebrate. And now, as I was talking to you in the email I sent out, I said, get your beverage ready. So if you don't have yours ready, do so now. Because it's almost time to do a toast to the tribe. So get your favorite beverage, coffee, wine, champagne, whatever it may be. Get your beverage ready so that we can do a toast. You might have heard that little pop, because yes, we have champagne, not just coffee. So we've got, let's see, does that show on camera? Maybe?
Yep.
Okay, we have glasses here, but we're still staying way far apart. And we'll bring the bottle up. Can you pour from way far apart? I love it. Because it's time to do a toast. A goodbye to 2020. A hello to 2021. All the opportunities that we have coming forward to us. All the things we can look forward to, all the things we can share together as we all gather and prepare for a new year. Do you have your beverage ready? You got your glass? Let's all toast together. A toast to 2021 and the Tulip Tribe in the future. To you. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers!
We'll see you all next week. Please stay safe, stay well. Keep flowers by your side each and every day. And be sure, absolutely sure, to do something you love. See you next week, and